All good. Welcome. So, a bunch of cool stuff going on today out there. It seems like there's a little bit of a sigh of relief in the marketplace. Like stock market seems to be up a bit today. Maybe some numbers are going down, so people are getting confident. But I think there are some warning signs here that we do need to discuss. So, I want to start things off with that conversation today. If you look at the stock market, and I know that the screen is ridiculous and hard to read, but I'm just going to draw something here on the screen, and I want to pay close attention to it. We are right at the monthly pivot on the S&P 500. And I got to tell you, that's not a vote of the fact that things rose, that the market went up so that it could hit the monthly pivot. That's not a vote of confidence. That's just a technical likelihood. And so it's got to go well above that monthly pivot, past the monthly pivot to that missed green weekly pivot above where that's at. And then it needs to make a drop and then not go as low. So it needs to go up further, then it needs to drop down, but it needs to stay higher than this low and then go up again. And then I can call the bear market fake news. But until then, it's my friend Brian Shannon would say that it's innocent until proven guilty and guilty until proven innocent. And so if there's an upward trend like we see in Owens and Minor that has begun, then that trend is intact as long as we're making higher highs and higher lows. 1 up, 2 down, 3 up, 4 down. That low should stay in place and we should bounce from here. And the fact that it's going down over the last couple of days or even since the beginning of April is really not a concern. So today, the first thing I want to do is walk you through how to read charts on a day like this. When is the bear market over? What are we supposed to believe about the way things are going today? What are we supposed to think about this? Are we supposed to change our viewpoints every day, or is it still a bear market? And the answer is yeah, it's still a bear market. I mean, anybody who says it's not still a bear market is out of their mind. Like, you'd have to be completely out of your mind to think that somehow anything that we're looking at proves that like the bear market is over. And the only way that you can prove that the bear market is over is that we're breaking through trend lines and making higher highs and higher lows. And all we're doing right now is rising to meet monthly pivots. This is not even a higher high here. It's not even at the previous high. So if the NASDAQ drops lower from here, it's got a lot more that it can go lower. I'm not even talking about fundamentals right now. I'm just purely talking about technicals. The technical analysis that you can do on the charts does not suggest that somehow we're not going to have an extended length bear market, or somehow that we're going to avoid a recession. It's really impossible for me to imagine some kind of scenario in which we avoid a recession. Children's Place, the store, even if it opened up tomorrow, it probably wouldn't survive as a company. Even if it opened up tomorrow and they gave $100 bills out to people who came to the mall. This is a store inside of the mall, and the malls aren't going to open anytime soon, first of all. But second of all, even if they did, no one would go to them. This company can't survive. I'd love to see a list of companies that are inside of the mall, and then I would love to look at all of those companies and figure out which one of those companies I want to short the most. But this isn't even the most important chart. So the most important charts for me right now are things like Blue Apron, food delivery. It actually made no movement whatsoever in the midst of today. So I'm a little bit concerned on a day when the rest of the market is up that this stock didn't go up. So I'm going to watch this closely. I'm still long the $10 calls, and I'm going to stay long. I'm not concerned about CVS. CVS printed 973,000 bullish profit circles. I am not concerned about CVS. It printed bullish divergence and a bullish profit circle. Now it's down today. It's weird, right? Like on a day the market is up, you see the things that we like are down. What's happening right now is what's up is down and what's down is up. the stocks that that were doing okay when the fears were high are not doing well today. So it's kind of weird, but I do expect those things to change. I still like the XRT. Doesn't Nothing has changed about the way I feel about this. It's not really moving at all today. It's not really going anywhere today. I don't, or SPCB. Now I love this financial instrument. I love it. I can't love it more than I love it now. I really, really love this financial instrument, and I think it's going to go to $2 or higher. I own, I don't know, 6,000 shares. What if I'm wrong? Well, how will I know I'm wrong? Well, I'll know I'm wrong if it makes a lower low. It's got to break below 70 cents. And then I'll know I'm wrong. And that'll be that. And I won't argue with it, and I won't be upset about it. And yes, I can also measure it by if I lose $1,000 or $2,000, then I'm wrong. And that's fine. I can handle being wrong, of course, and we'll just replace it with something else that's working fine. Ecore is really similar to Electrocore Incorporated. I'll know if I'm wrong if it breaks below, this low right here. See if I can draw this. I'll know it. I'll know I'm wrong if that happens. I also want to know, however, on the good side, I want to know if it rises above, $1.45 a share. That'd be completely magnificent and totally awesome. And I would be absolutely thrilled and super happy. I not only want to look at those things, but today I also want to look at the bigger winners. I want to look at stocks that did well today because these are candidates when they come back down for a rest. This is Aker's Biosciences Incorporated. Don't know what this company does. First of all, look at SPCB. Jumped up, went down, then jumped up again. I think Aker is going to possibly move back down and then make a move up. I think this could be a candidate for something along the lines of what we like to look at. This is IMMU. Jumped up today, Immunomedics Incorporated. It really hasn't started to come back down and rest, but it could come back down and rest at the weekly pivot. WRLS, not interested in that. MESO, this looks pretty interesting. This could come back down and rest. So I want to mark these. See if I can add those. Can't add those. I guess I have to go back up to my watch list and go IMMU, Aker, and then Meso. Is that right? Yeah. So I added those, and we'll see if these come back down to rest. We'll keep them on our watch list. Take a look at these if they drop back lower. These are pretty interesting moves today. Now, of course, wouldn't it be great if we had found this before it moved? Yeah, it would have been great. That would have been amazing. Usually it trades 2.8 million shares. Today it traded 37 million shares. Let's see what Primus Biotech is. Doesn't look like that's even a company that's publicly traded. So there you have it. Take a look at the questions box. Way to go, Sue. That's great news about being up in that FX account. Tim says, thanks for moving the time. 3 a.m. was rough for you. Okay, well, all week long, Tim, we got you. We got your back. Regarding the SPY, are you thinking it may go higher off the pivot point just touched? So, Warwick, I'm thinking actually that if you look at the S&P 500, it's got to go, like I said at the beginning of this, it's got to jump up even higher. It's got to reach up to the weekly pivot that was missed. And then it's got to put in a new low that's higher than 244 on the SPY. So there's cats. I don't know what this does. Catasis Incorporated. That's beautiful. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about that one. Looks like we already got the move up, then the drop back down, and then the second move up. So from here, I'm not really sure how I could take advantage of anything. I might want to buy some more SPCB going into the close, by the way. Maybe look, a lot of these things that really move at the open, as you've seen. So I might buy some more today near the close. So CVS, somebody asks, would now be a time to add to the position? Certainly an interesting idea, but I'd keep what we have, and I'd probably not. It's a completely reasonable thing to do. I would want to add if it proves that it's going to make new highs above $60. Someone says, "Do you think Uber is a put?" Uber is probably the greatest, yes, put of all time. Yeah, I mean, it's hitting the monthly pivot. It's not making a new high. It's making a lower high. If it stops here, it's a lower high, and that would be amazing. I would be thrilled to look at put trades on Uber. Let's just look at the options chain. I don't know. I would want June. I would want puts that are priced at the money, $25, 18,000 contracts of open interest. The bid ask is 10 cents wide. Yeah, I would be thrilled. I'm going to look at these on Thinkorswim as well. I had puts on Uber for one day last week, didn't I? Okay, Uber, June, $25 puts, $3.40. 10 contracts would cost me $3,406. Could Uber do really well? Could Uber? Yeah, it could. I like these. I like buying these. I don't want to get back into having 250 million trades, okay? I don't want to go back to having a billion trades in my account. But I like this, and I like it enough to take it. I like it a lot. I think that Uber, it's hard for me to imagine Uber doing incredibly well. I'd love to be short Uber by through puts. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I yeah, we'll see how we can do here. We'll see if this works. Uber, it's hard for me to imagine, but it's technically, look, first of all, Uber is a heavily indebted company and their revenues are going to go down. And technically speaking, they are in a bear. This is a bear trend. This is a downward trend. It rose to hit a pivot in a downward trend. You cannot get better than that. Alan says, I think Uber is a buy. Okay, great. Go for it. Am I still using Robinhood or move to Tastyworks? So I have Thinkorswim has 60,000, and I'm going to put 100,000 in Tastyworks, and I'm going to close all my positions out in Robinhood by the end of the month and move that over to Tastyworks as well. So questions about OMI. So why would Uber gap up? it's just like the market as a whole is doing well today. I don't like to ask a lot of whys because we don't know really why, but you can. There's just it just sounds stupid to even say it. There is like a Wall Street's breathing a sigh of relief that maybe the virus infections are down or whatever. So I don't know. This is OMI. Looks like OMI could use some help. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but today is I already covered this, right? It's an upward trend. It fell lower. If it falls below the previous low at $5.18, it's making lower lows. But if it bounces up from here, then it's making higher lows. And then I would want to know when it reaches above $9.75 or $9.80. And I would close this around near at $10 a share, which, like I said before, seems like you definitely going to get there. We have earnings coming up May 4th. I want to be out of this by earnings. I wouldn't want to really hold it through earnings, although this stock doesn't really have a history of doing anything but go up around earnings recently anyway. So I wouldn't be terribly opposed to that. And it's a medical supply company, so I love that. Warwick says, what pivot is Uber touching? Warwick, are you watching this? You watching this? You're here, right? That's the monthly pivot. It's purple. Sorry if I didn't show that on the screen before. That's the monthly pivot. They're always purple. XRT is the retail ETF. Same thoughts as before. If it could go up enough, I would short it. If you're buying the lows in retail, then you must know something that I don't know. You must think that this is, I don't know what you know that I don't know. There's no bullish profit circle on the 4-hour. There's no hope in sight for retailers. I don't know how there could be. I absolutely, if someone bought the XRT, I believe I can't believe anyone would be doing that. But of course, what do I know? I mean, of course, sure, it could go up and hit this monthly pivot. If it did, I'd want to short it. I'd love to short it. This is Restoration Hardware. I would love to see Restoration Hardware rise to hit this monthly pivot. I don't think it's even going to get there. I think it's done rising, and I think the next leg is down for that. Micron is bear market, rose above the monthly pivot. It's okay if it gaps through it. It's not making a new high. It reached its previous high recently. And then from here, I would definitely expect to see the bear market take over. Remember, this is not a bull market, and until we see new highs and higher lows both, I just can't imagine any reason why anyone would think that these things can go up. Lloyd says, my son is trying to drive for Uber and others as a side job, and as he said to me, his worry is you can't buy nothing if you don't have nothing. And that's the truth. You know, listen, I don't want Uber to do poorly. I don't want anybody to be out of work. Of course I don't. But I think you gotta be realistic. This is a company with a significant amount of debt, and it's just crazy. Here's USO. This is oil. Rose today. Rose close to the monthly pivot, but didn't even get there. Once again, sure, oil rose. Oil's a little bit of a tricky one because governments can manipulate the price of oil more easily, and we even hear news stories about it. Saudi Arabia can cut production, and oil can jump 20% in 1 minute. So it's a lot tougher. So, folks, it's hard for me to imagine jumping into any kind of trade on an oil stock like CVX or what's Schlumberger, SLB. Hard for me to imagine wanting to get into any of these companies. The only reason I didn't short them at all is just because, like I said before, the price of oil is so it's so susceptible to the trend can change on a dime because governments and whatever else. If oil spiked suddenly, I'd sell it. Actually, Mark Hay just texted me, gosh, I wish USO was a little more expensive. I like them for puts. But $5? No kidding. I am talking to the coaching group now in a webinar about it. So here's my favorite stuff. I still love OMI. Still love SPCB. I'm probably going to buy some going into the close. It drifted lower today. I don't. Once again, it's a bullish trend. If you can't see it, let's just look at it again. It made new highs. It made higher highs and higher lows. It rose a bit today and dropped back down lower. Now I need this to move up from here. It's got to happen. I have to see this move up from here, or else this is right. If it falls below 50 cents or so, then everything I just said is not correct. All right, let's check out the questions here. Rose to hit its pivot. This is Caterpillar. So Caterpillar is interesting because it just really close to an old missed weekly pivot. Once again, Caterpillar could do really well if there's some kind of infrastructure bill, right? So if Trump announces a $3 trillion program to build roads and bridges, then Caterpillar is going to do great because they're going to need a lot of them. It's probably going to fall. It's got to fall lower first, though. Things just don't go up. Like this is not a pharmaceutical stock, so it goes up, down, up again, probably one more leg down, and then it probably does go up from here. There's got to be an infrastructure bill coming, in my opinion. So Uber's assets are currently 32 billion and their debt is at 7.6 billion. Okay, listen, then I stand corrected, but let's look at this. Yahoo Finance, Uber. Statistics. Profit margin is negative 60%. Return on assets, negative 19%. Return on equity, negative 77%. EPS, negative $6.81. Total cash, $11 billion in cash. Current ratio, $2.47 of cash for every dollar of short-term debt. So I don't know. Maybe they do have significant assets. They do not have positive cash flow. They have negative $4 billion in cash flow. They're burning through cash very quickly. So maybe they do have more cash than they do debt, but they're burning through their cash quickly to keep operations going, and that's going to only continue. They're only going to be burning more cash. So Uber, to me, is fundamentally unsound as a business. If you ran Uber and you came to me and you asked me to invest in your business, I would say no. There's no way I would invest in your business. The time to invest in Uber was a long time ago. It's terribly overvalued, and it's hard for me to imagine a scenario in which Uber can do well under these circumstances. Lyft might be in the same situation. It's strange. I never really look at Lyft. The Lyft doesn't have as much. They only have $2 billion in cash. They have $1.33 for every dollar of short-term debt they have. Let's just look at Lyft. Same story. It's like, listen, I mean, I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But it's going to be hard for these. It's going to be hard for these companies to survive. How do you have vertical lines at every earnings date? It's not a silly question. I'm happy to answer your question. So I right click, I do chart settings, and I click on events, and then I click on show earnings on chart. CDLX. Paralytics Incorporated. Bear market, right? IMGN. I don't know what I can't. Oh, didn't. Gosh, it's like there's weird stocks that sound like they're the same company. This is the 4-hour chart. This is what it looks like when a bullish trend is violated. So it jumps upward and then it just drops through all of these previous lows, and then it makes a lower high and a lower low down there. Don't know what this company does, but maybe they are great. Maybe they've got something going on that I don't know about, but those two bullish profit circles on the 60-minute chart plus that divergence. If you liked this company, that was the time to do it. I don't know much about their financial situation or financial positioning, so I would want to know more about that before I did anything. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording here.